Alrighty guys, welcome back to another episode of Misplaced Garage. So last kind of update, I was working on the wiring. I guess last video I just detailed why and how I was wiring stuff, so if you want to go to that, click on that video. I'll try and link it in there, but I'm going to kind of focus less on that today because I don't have all the parts that I need. I still need an airflow meter and a couple of other little pigtail plugins, so that'll be on the back burner for the moment while I wait for parts to come in. Today I'm going to see if I can get the transmission out of reverse. Unfortunately, the car is literally stuck in reverse, even though I can shift it into first and second. Sensor's out on the side of the transmission, and use a screwdriver and push a little lever back and it'll remove it out of reverse, but I don't have a lot of faith in that, so hopefully I don't have to pull the whole engine out, but we'll see. And a little garage update. Since last winter I mounted my huge wall heater on the wall this time, because before I had it just set down on the ground and it would work, it would warm up the space pretty well, but here I can have it mounted on the wall out of the way, and then I also put a little oscillating fan up there to distribute the heat. And this winter I should be nice and toasty in here. Normally I can get it up to about 60 to 70 when it's like 0 degrees outside, so I'm super happy about that. So in this little port on the side of the transmission, I have a 1-inch wrench here because I don't know where my crescent wrench went, but this is not the correct size, but it will remove it. So I think I just fixed it. That was actually way easier than I thought it was going to be, because as of now, I'll put my glove back on before I cut my hand, but you can see thing is in neutral, shifts, or it moves back and forth really easy, and I can spin the drive shaft all the way around. Well, it's hitting the transmission tunnel now, but I can spin it all the way around without any issue. Now I go to push the clutch in. I get first, second, third, fourth, and then reverse. Well, I'll spin and then reverse. Now we're back in neutral. All of it works. So I took the little sensor off. I think this is the neutral safety switch, and I pushed that gear inside. It's not really a gear, it's more of an arm, and the whole thing went forward and it removed it out of reverse. So that was actually a lot easier than I thought it was going to be, because the first time I did it I didn't have a clutch, so you have to have a clutch hooked up for this to work. Well, I was seriously dreading that transmission thing because I was worried I was going to have to take the motor and transmission back out, but I don't. So, celebration. Good old Pepsi. I'm going to work on cleaning up the whole interior just so I know what parts I do and don't need in here anymore, and just simplify all this so that I can have a good clean slate, because I need to work on an e-brake just in case my brake system that I rebuilt in the whole car, if that failed, it would be horrible not to have some kind of e-brake. I know it is a manual, so I would be able to slow down with engine braking, but that's not stopping, that's just slowing down. I'm going to try and get the darn e-brake to work somehow. I might have to cut that off and move it farther back or something like that. So now in the car, I'm going to be kind of simplifying the wiring. I'm also kind of going through and labeling to make sure I know where everything is, because I got the fuel pump relay up there, labeled that. Ignition relay over there. I should mount that as well, but I have not yet. Yeah, it's just the simplifying game now, because I don't want this whole mess in here when I'm trying to make a transmission tunnel and stuff. And I also noticed the blinkers are not functioning currently, so that's on the list. Effects, all the other lights are working, but the blinkers, so that shouldn't be too hard to figure out. Something probably just unplugged. I'm also going through and eliminating any possible chances of arcing So I don't want to have any metal exposed or nothing like that. So I'm just going to go through and kind of tape off the metal. Not a great way to do it, but it works. So apparently at some point I just decided to remove the turn signal fuse. I'm not real sure why, but put it back in. Turn signals work, the little green arrow pops up. Front one flashes, as you can see, and the rear one flashes. They all work. Not real sure why I took out the fuse to that at some point, but supposedly I did. Now that I've kind of got the wiring cleaned up a little bit, I'm working on the e-brake here. So I've got it hooked up in there, and it does actually work as it sits, but clearly it hits the transmission housing. So I'm thinking it's not by too much. I might be able to either grind some of that off. Obviously there's going to be a transmission tunnel on it, so I might have to move the whole apparatus backwards. I don't necessarily want to do that, but if I had to, I could. I'm thinking I might be able to bend that whole bracket over this way, and then when the transmission tunnel is on here, it'll just rest right next to it, and that might be a decent way to go. I'm not sure, but I'm going to at least try and get this thing where it should be. So now I've crafted this little like snap ring basically, and we'll see if I can get her on there. Should be pretty darn easy. Because I couldn't drill a hole through it, this was kind of the next best idea. Going on there. So now that I've got the e-brake kind of in there, I don't really like the positioning that it is, so I think my legs are going to be somewhere right about here. It's going to be tight either way. I think I can just bend this whole thing to the direction that I want. Might need a little more finishing touches, but I'm pretty happy with how that kind of setup works. It ain't perfect, but that's completely released. And I'll probably have a box around this shifter, probably similar like that. And the shifter can stay right where it's at. It's kind of like right next to the actual shifter, but that will work. And so, take the rear shock out of there. E-brake is down. Should be able to push it. I can indeed push it. It's got flat tires, so it's hard to push. Pull that e-brake all the way up, and I can't push it at all. So, that tells me it works. Ordered some radiator hose, so this is about 3 feet long. I didn't know how much I needed. I probably should have ordered 4, but good start there. Ordered some heater core hose as well. This is a different company. I wish I could have got that in black, but I couldn't have, so I got that stuff. And then I also bought a bunch of worm drive clamps. And I know one thing that I gotta do is I gotta connect these two pipes together, because these are the heater core hoses, and if I'm not running a heater core yet, I can just tie them into each other and I won't have any leaks or nothing. So that'll be together, and there's no other coolant other than what's already connected. Like that little guy connects down here to the water pump. I believe that's the water pump or something like that. And then the heater core comes, or the radiator hose comes over here to the radiator. Got a radiator on order, so it will be here soon, hopefully. and I need to kind of chug away at some of this stuff. So I got both of those hoses off of there. Whoever designed this whole engine setup here, I'm just kidding, that was kind of a pain in the butt to remove, but I got it off. I think I'm gonna clean up the ends of that, kind of de-rust it a little, and then throw some toes on there. And since this is some sharper metal, I mean, it's not super sharp, but it is just an edge, I'm going to throw this over the outside of the hose just to keep it from getting a hole in it from vibrations or something. I'll try my best not to just rest it up against it. So I got it complete over here. I think I might end up maybe, I don't know for sure, but either cutting this pipe a little closer to the block or adding a little right angle elbow here, so I don't gotta have the pipe up above the bulkhead here. It'll work for now. I also added a little heat insulation against here. This is mainly so I don't cut the pipe, and then I added another little guy down here just because it's so close to the header and I don't want to melt the pipe itself. So that should do it for the net. For now, we'll leave it like that. If it causes problems, and I'll change it. Now what I'm going to do is see if I can get all the correct wires hooked up here for the ignition coil and stuff to see if I can get spark, because if I can get spark, that means I am headed in the right direction. And spark is a great thing to have, obviously, to make the engine run. But if I can get that, then I'm just missing a couple other little electronic components, and then I might be able to start it or something like that. So far, everything's going really well. I talked to a couple people on Facebook regarding some of the wiring on this motor, and they actually really helped me out. You know, you might think you're smart, but then there's somebody else who's like way smarter than you are, and they're actually, a lot of the time, if they're nice people, then it's cool to learn from them. And this guy actually helped me out a lot. I'm getting 12 volts now all the way to the coil pack and to the condenser, so that is the power wire, this blue guy. I just need to wire in a condenser now that I ordered. I ordered a new old stock one on eBay, so we'll see how that works out. But 12 volts isn't enough to supply the coil pack. It's not enough for it to spark, basically. So the condenser is like a tiny little battery, and it amplifies the amperage that you get to the coil pack. So that is why I'm not getting spark currently, but I am getting power to it, and everything is communicating how it should. And boom, by the power of editing, I've got a condenser here, so I should be able to wire this guy in. I assume this guy gets connected to some form of ground. And yeah, looks like it connects to a black and blue wire, which is the wires that I was talking about beforehand. Because these guys, this is the power wire to the coil here. So that'll be the blue that I connect to, and then the black should be coming off the igniter. And then this black wire from the igniter is just going to ground. I don't know if it needs to technically connect into this. It kind of looks like it might need to, but other than that, everything literally just grounds, so I don't really see an issue because I've got the ground running from this igniter all the way up here into that guy. So in theory, that should be netting me some spark. Still not getting any spark, so I'll have to figure that out for the next video, unfortunately. But hopefully soon I can get it at least sparking so that I have a possibility of starting this engine. Anyways guys, if you like the video and you like following along, please consider liking, commenting, and subscribing. That all really helps me, and I will see you in the next one.